about strengthening civic participation and social accountability in local governance. And I have been joined by Cosmos Akoli. He is a research officer and LOGODEP project manager with IDEG. That's the Institute of Democratic Governance. Good morning. Welcome to the Breakfast Show.
Good morning. Thank you.
How have you been, though?
Yeah, fine. Yeah, fine.
Everything's good.
Yes. And we welcome this opportunity to further contribute to civic participation at the local level. Yes.
Wonderful.
Okay.
And I think it's an important thing that you're doing as well. And I've also been joined by Nanofe Abuaji Ajiman II. He is he's the chief of Senchi, and he's also a project manager and with the Institute of Local Government Studies. And he's also part of the Social Accountability Project. Good morning and welcome to the Breakfast Show.
Good morning.
Nana.
Yeah.
I like the bands on your hand. Really important. It shows it's an important symbol of chieftaincy.
Sure.
Wonderful.
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. So soon we'll be visiting Senchi. The whole entire Breakfast Show team will be coming for something important. I'm sure you organize something nice for us.
You're most welcome.
Okay. Now, right now we're talking about social accountability, local governance issues, and the likes, and I think it's very important. We will be focusing a bit also on MMDA's budgets and the likes, and I think that's also very, very important. So I'll start by asking you, Cosmos.
Yes.
Okay? How would you describe social accountability generally?
Well, it's simply a citizen-led civic participation and accountability process at the local level, at the national level. Because accountability or the rules and regulations that are meant to ensure or promote accountability have not worked largely in Ghana. The instances of corruption, etc. It's a daily occurrence. You see those issues in the Auditor General's report. What it means is that once the laws have failed, they are not effective, we need another approach. That is the citizens-led approach to exacting accountability from our officials or duty bearers at the local and the national level. That is largely the social accountability program or project. So it's about citizens on one hand, officials, and even service providers coming together to ensure accountable local governance.
Okay, Nana, would you want to add to what he said?
Yeah, like he said, there's a need for citizens to exact responsive and accountable governance, and but more importantly, social accountability also involves participation, accountability, and transparency. The ability and capacity of citizens to participate in the decision-making process, the capacity of the public office holders to account for the resources put in their trust for and behalf of the citizenry, and also the ability and capacity of the citizens to exact accountability from the public office holders. But finally, it's more important for us to look at the transparency process. How transparent are our decision-making processes? And I believe when these are done, these three key pillars, transparency, accountability, and also participation, it gives a voice to the voiceless. It gives a voice to the
people in general.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I want to know the role of civil societies in respect of, for instance, since we're talking about local governments, let's focus on MMDAs for now. The role of, and also the local authorities, of course, the role of civil society when it comes to their budgets and the likes.
Yeah, civil society plays a critical role generally in the governance process at the local level, providing education on the various processes, the various avenues that exist for citizens to participate in the governance process. They play a critical role in there. Specifically, the specific reference to this project, for instance, which is a social accountability project designed under the Ghana Local Government and Decentralization Program, LOGODEP, for instance. We have focused on increasing citizens' influence in determining their priorities at the local level, improving the trust between citizens and officials at the local level, also institutionalizing a platform for increased citizens' engagement with their duty bearers. And also
I wanted us to
advocacy.
focus on LOGODEP shortly after, but I just wanted to get a fair idea whether or not civil society, whether they have any mandate, not mandate per se, but any onus to actually, go to demand for a copy of the budget, for instance, from the various MMDAs.
Yeah. First of all, if you look at the decentralization, various policies, they acknowledge the role of CSOs, or civil society organizations, critical role. So, for instance, civil society organizations at the local level are encouraged to, for instance, register with the assemblies. It means that central government recognizes how important their role can be. So they are acknowledged, because we need this independent institutions at the local level to play a critical role in educating the citizens, in feeding back to central government on what exactly these agents, MMDAs, are doing at the local level. Yes.
In acquiescence to what you're saying, actually, that they are to register and they are recognized. There's no, whims about that. But the fact is that do they have a legal onus to actually demand for a copy of a budget, for instance?
Okay.
You'll agree that there's probably no law that allows them to actually make this demand, absence the Right to Information Bill and the likes?
Yes. We have issues with access to information, but largely we are recognizing that citizens have the right to know whatever policies their officials are implementing on their behalf, how they are applying the resources that they get at the local level. So more and more, there's this increased recognition on the part of the MMDAs. So citizens coming together under civil society to demand this information is not out of place. Because citizens have the right to know, and they have the right to collaborate with the...
so what I'm arguing right now, and I know you weren't expecting these questions, that's fine. What I'm arguing right now is that the right of citizens to know how their monies are being spent in life, because whether we like it or not, it is the money of the citizens. It is their monies. But the fact is that this right, I would argue, is a moral right and not a legal right.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't know. You can choose to disagree with me on this one.
Yes, but the point is that it's a two-way affair. Officials on one hand, citizens. You are providing public services for them. They are entitled to know the budget, for instance, how much you have received, how much internally generated funds you have been able to mobilize, how much this Assembly Common Fund has come, how much Mineral Development Fund has come, how much District Development Facility, for instance, you have received. They are entitled to know. If they don't know the quantum of the money you have received, how can they tell whether indeed the services that you have provided them
so that creates room for corruption.
They actually deserve.
Yes, in the absence of that information, that creates room for corruption.
Yes.
Anyway, Nana.
Right. I would say that citizens have a legal right to know. If you look at the decentralization system, the various tiers of the decentralization structure, at the lowest level, we have the community. Now, another system, we have assembly members for electoral areas. And the business of the assembly members are to pick the issues that are raised by the citizens at their various electoral areas to the various assemblies. They discuss their issues. They prioritize these issues. In fact, a totality of these issues are what come into the development of the district's medium-term development plans. And these medium-term development plans act as a blueprint for development of the district within the 4-year period. In addition, assembly members hold various meetings, general assembly meetings, subcommittee meetings, and it is the responsibility of the assembly members to send decisions that have been made at the assembly level down to the grassroots. So generally, you would see that the citizens have a right to some of these things. Now, it's very important also to indicate that when the assemblies are developing their medium-term development plans, one very critical issue for the approval of the medium-term development plans are the public hearings at the community level, where the citizens determine the types of facilities or the types of services that they need. And these are approved at the community level, signed by various stakeholders at the community level, and these are sent to the district. So it's important that the citizens at the lowest level have serious input into decision making at the district assembly level.
Okay, so how can we, for instance, facilitate CSO's involvement in MMDA budget, for instance?
Right. Development is all about people. Now, the assembly has taken a decision with input from the citizens that we're going to construct a number of facilities, health facilities, educational facilities. Now, the citizens would have to find out from the assembly whether this budget that has been approved has been implemented. What is the extent of implementation? We said we're going to construct, we needed a 6-unit classroom block. What has been brought to us is a 3-unit classroom block. We may need to question why it's been done. We said we wanted louver blades in the 6-unit classroom block. We've been given some types of windows, jealousy windows. Why? We said we needed in the classroom blocks, for each classroom block, it needed 2 doors. We only have 1 door. Civil society would need to ask why. You know, so the issue is that civil society, on behalf of the citizens, would need to find out from public office holders how their monies have gone. Where, and the cliche is, where has our money gone to? You see? Yeah. So they would have to look at critical issues relating to service delivery, because by Act 462, the assemblies have been resourced through their own internally generated funds, through intergovernmental transfers and other sources to deliver services for the people to ensure national development.
Okay. Now, Cosmos, I now want you to tell us about the LOGODEP project.
Yes. This social accountability project, which is the civic participation in social accountability and local government project, was developed by IDEG under the local government and decentralization program with the support from USAID. The project has focused largely on increasing or improving citizens' influence in determining local government priorities. I'm referring to public services that are supposed to be provided at the local level. It's also focused on improving trust between citizens on one hand and MMDA officials on the other. It's also focused on institutionalizing the platform for increased citizen participation at the local level, which is critical for effective public service delivery. And finally, it's also supporting advocacy activities that are meant to ensure effective public service delivery. These are the objectives of the project. And under the project, in order to achieve this objective, for instance, we were able to collect the annual action plans of the target MMDAs, and I'm referring to Takwa Municipal Assembly, I'm referring to Pristia Huni Valley District Assembly, and Shama.
Okay, so a few MMDAs were selected.
Yes, the project was implemented in these 3 districts. We collected the annual action plans of the assembly, mapped out the various fiscal projects within the various electoral areas, built the capacity of citizens in monitoring this project. We did budget tracking on DACF, MDF, DDF, for instance, I'm referring to Mineral Development Fund, District Development Facility, and the District Assembly's Common Fund. We did budget tracking in all these areas and see whether indeed these to improve citizen knowledge on these sources of funding and other sources of funding that assemblies receive. We were able to do monitoring, 4 monitorings of physical projects, and citizens went to all these project sites. This is unusual. It's a novelty, actually.
Yeah, it's actually beautiful.
Yes,
yeah.
yes. So citizens can tell you the status of various projects in the various electoral areas, and every electoral area, or every project site we visited, the district, the assembly member of that electoral area was part of the team that went there. Very beautiful. The capacity of citizens have been improved.
Do citizens track this developmental projects with knowledge of the budget and how much is going into these projects as well?
Beautiful. We, as I said, we mapped out the various projects in the electoral areas and the actual cost assigned to these projects. And so when we get to Project A, for instance, we're able to tell, okay, we are at the length level, the contractor says he spent X amount of money. We get back to the community level, the assembly level, and provide information that we went and we saw the project at the length level. That's, for instance, the contractor has spent maybe 70%. We think it's too much. What's happening? Then they get back to the contractor. We provided essential feedback to the assemblies to take remedial actions on the project. And I must tell you that as a result of our monitoring, the assemblies actually responded. You'll be surprised that between, let's say, baseline monitoring, first monitoring, second monitoring, a lot. You see, they were eager to do a lot, even though there were also a lot of challenges. But they responded to these feedback that we provided them. And the community radio programs were organized to provide information on the status of the project, what is happening at the various project site, and assemblies actually took them seriously and acted. In the situations where they didn't act, then it means either it's due to the lack of fund, the usual suspect that we know, the delayed disbursement of DACF, MDF.
Or possible misappropriation at the MMDA level, at the district level.
Yes. Those are the capacities that we have provided. And we believe that these capacities will remain even beyond the project. Citizens will continue with this engagement with their duty bearers to exert accountability. They should continue to actively participate in the governance process for improved public service delivery, for improved livelihoods at the local level.
Wonderful. Now, I've been signaled that we are running out of time, but then I want to hear from you, Nana, as well, still on the LOGODEP project, and your final comments.
Well, I would say that there's the need to further build up the capacity of civil society organizations to exact accountability and responsiveness from the public office holders. The Institute of Local Government Studies has been building the capacity of civil society organizations on certain social accountability tools and mechanisms. And we would continue to do that. At the end of the day, we want to see social accountability institutionalized. Social accountability should not be seen as an output, but a process, a normal way of life. That I believe institutionalized, the whole society would be able to question certain things that are happening at the various levels of government. And I believe that it will lead to efficient and effective allocation of resources and upsurge service delivery, and national development will be enhanced at the end of the day.
Okay. Finally, Cosmos.
Yes, I want to say that there are a lot of challenges. Delayed disbursement of DACF, for instance, has led to a situation where projects have stalled. There has not been adequate service provision at the local level. Assembly budgets are disrupted, their plans are disrupted. We want the stakeholders to respond to these challenges. You'll be surprised to know that the last Mineral Development Fund that the Takwa and Prisia Valley received, for instance, was for 2011. This situation is not good enough. We think that we have known the delayed disbursement of the DACF, even though the government is responding. We understand, for instance, that the first quarter for 2015 has been released, even though the assembly say they are yet to receive this amount. We think that the noise that we made and that this project has actually yielded results, because this is unusual for first quarter 2014 to be released, even though the assemblies have not yet released. Government stakeholders, we have already engaged the DACF administrator. We've engaged the Western Regional Coordinating Council on the challenges that we've identified, and we believe that stakeholders should respond appropriately. Is it Bank of Ghana, is it Controller and Accountant General Department, Ministry of Finance, local government ministry, all the stakeholders that play various roles in the management of the District Assembly Common Fund should respond, so that we have free flow of funds to the assemblies for public service delivery. Because we have taken this responsibility from the central government that District Assembly should provide services. They need funds to be able to survive. Because the delayed disbursement of the funds, the various sources of funding, is hurting them. It's hurting public service delivery. So government should respond, stakeholders should respond to these problems in order to ensure improve public service delivery and livelihoods at the local level.
Okay. Nana and Cosmos, I can tell you right now that you have my full support. I think this is a wonderful idea, the LOGODEP project. Actually, LOGODEP is a wonderful idea. And, well, governments may be upset about the fact that, you know, you'll be giving them pressure to disburse funds on time. And also, corrupt MMDAs will also be very upset because you are monitoring them and making sure that corruption doesn't take place. And I think it's a wonderful idea. You have my full support. Thank you very much for coming on the program. I was joined by Nana Ofea Boaje Ajiman II. He is with the Institute of Local Government Studies, and he's also the chief of Senchi, and he's also part of the project, the Social Accountability Project. Also part of the Social Accountability Project, LOGODEP, is the research officer, Cosmos Akoli. Stay tuned to the Breakfast Show. More coming up.
Sometimes your body wakes up, but your mind doesn't. Don't just get up.